We have in order 1 Oregon, 2 Ohio State, 3 Texas, 4 Indiana, 5 Alabama, 6 Ole Miss, 7 Georgia, 8 Penn State, 9 Notre Dame, 10 Miami, 11 BYU, and then Boise State at that 12 spot. I personally wouldn't be surprised if you see Tennessee at that 13 spot ahead of Boise State. Tennessee's lost to Georgia, and then Boise State not looking great against San Jose State. And the committee has shown a willingness to put 2 lost SEC teams ahead of Boise State. But when it comes to the playoff seeding, it's not going to matter. Boise State would get that 12 spot. What are your biggest takeaways from changes in the bracket or in our top 12 this week?
I think our biggest faller was definitely Tennessee. We kind of hyped them up, I'd say, a little bit, given that we said, oh, they're going to cover and going to win, and they lose by 14. So that was a bit of a shocker for us. We had them as, I believe, the number 4 team last week in our rankings, and now they're on the outside looking in, and it's deserved. Georgia handled them. So that's our biggest faller. BYU would be our second biggest faller. Not, like we said, just we kind of expected this to happen. Weren't quite sure when it was going to happen, but it finally did. Still in the running here to win the Big 12, but those two are definitely our biggest fallers. Other than that, everyone just kind of shifted up. Well, let's see, Georgia probably moved up the most for us, right?
Yeah, we had Georgia right on that last spot outside looking in. They were our 12th ranked team last week, but that would have kept them out of the playoffs, and now they're all the way up to our number 7 team. With that, it kind of does Bama and Ole Miss a favor, where Ole Miss was like 16 a couple weeks ago, somewhere around there, and then all of a sudden they beat Georgia, which makes them look good, and then Georgia goes and looks good for them the next week, and all of a sudden they just kind of get pushed up by that head-to-head, and they're all the way up there at number 6.
Yeah, that's a huge turnaround for Ole Miss. Ole Miss kind of seemed like they were done after their second loss to LSU, and yeah, I think they're going to be ranked in the top 6 this week, and should be.
Yep. And then other teams on the outside looking in, SMU, number 14 for us, and they're going to have a chance. They control their own destiny. If they win, they're going to be in. They're going to have to win their last 2. They're going to have to win the ACC title game. That's it. If they don't win those 3 games, they're not going to be in. Same for Texas A&M, in my opinion. They got to beat Texas. If they don't, they're not in. It would be interesting if they beat Texas, make the SEC title game, and then maybe lose to Bama or whoever else they play. Then it's like, ooh, is Texas out and Texas A&M's in?
It gets really ugly if that happens.
Yeah, it could get really dangerous. We saw the first part of that scenario we were talking about last week, where Georgia's muddled it up with a bunch more 2-loss teams. Texas A&M has the same opportunity here in a couple weeks, but not quite yet.
Yeah, I think the most common trend you'll see in our rankings is that it's all SEC and Big Ten, and it's going to be the winner of the ACC and the winner of the Big 12, and then one of the Group of 5 teams. But it's going to be dominated by Big Ten and SEC because those are the best teams in football. The Big 12 and ACC just haven't been that impressive this year. Still deserve a spot, but that's going to be a pretty common theme that you'll see from us for pretty much the entirety of the rankings going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, it plays out on the field. You watch it; those teams look like the best teams. They play each other. Games are close, and they just look like the better teams. I don't think it's a brand bias thing at all. ACC doesn't look like a good conference. Big 12 doesn't really look like a good conference.